Right then, folks, welcome to this podcast. This podcast is about body shaming, and I am joined by the lovely Hayley Glover. Hello, Hayley.
Hi, Sheila.
Hi, Hayley. If you just want to say kind of what you do, if you don't mind, like your job and what you do.
Yeah, absolutely. So I've got a salon. So I do aesthetics and I do a lot of deep tissue massage as well.
Yeah.
And I absolutely love it. I see a lot of members of the public daily.
Yeah, absolutely. You see a lot of bodies, Hayley.
I do.
Good stuff. So I've known Hayley for years. I go to Hayley for regular massages. And we believe we have some very interesting conversations. And we both realized that we're quite extreme when it comes to our own body. So I'm a plus size. I'm around a size 18 to 20, depending on what day it is, depending on how much I'm eating. Hayley, I know I've already asked you, are you okay to share what size you are?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm really petite. I'm short as well. So I'm 5'2" and I'm a size 6 to 8.
Lovely. And we have, look, again, we believe we have these conversations about comments, from other people. And luckily, I don't tend to get as much as I used to. I still do sometimes, but I think people really realize that I don't give a shite anymore. So they don't tend to comment as much. Well, it was just what we realized, myself and Hayley, was that you hear a lot of fat shaming, but a lot of times we don't speak enough about skinny shaming, thin shaming. Even as I say the words skinny, thin, I can hear the language, and we will be talking about the language. And even that in itself, I know for you, Hayley, you like to be described as petite.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, so if you're okay to share some of your experiences of being shamed for the way you look.
Yeah, so it's a really hard one because a lot of people don't even realize that they're doing it, especially when you're of a smaller frame. They just think, these comments only come to heart when you're larger, but it's not the case. So I get it a lot, actually. Even things, when I say, oh, I'm going to the gym today. Oh, what are you going to the gym for? You don't need to go to the gym. And it's like, well, actually, I do, because it's good for my mental health. And it also strengthens my back for work. But I feel like, why do I have to explain myself because I want to go to the gym? They're like, why are you trying to lose weight? So that's what.
Yeah, Hayley, you're absolutely spot on with that. Let's highlight that straight away. So there's the judgment straight away that just because somebody is petite, that they shouldn't be going to the gym. Who is anybody to make comments like that? And it's such an assumption as well. And as you rightly said, Hayley, well, why wouldn't you go to the gym? It's for everybody. It's for your mental health. And exactly what you said is you shouldn't have to justify to somebody else. That is all about them and their comment. Why do you think somebody would make a comment like that?
I don't think that a lot of people actually realise what they're saying.
Yeah.
I feel like they're very oblivious to it. They feel like because I'm slighter that I'm not going to take offence. And I also get a lot as well. So for me, if I'm unwell, I can lose half a stone in a week, which I'm always conscious of my size, and I really don't want to lose any weight. At the moment, I feel really healthy. I feel like I'm at a good weight.
Yeah.
But then somebody say, oh, have you lost weight? And they're saying it in a really...
Oh no, Hayley, I can hear it, the tone of voice. It's like, have you lost weight?
You lost weight. Have you eaten today? I get that as well.
Really? Seriously? As if you don't remember how to eat.
Oh, yeah. And I'm going, yes, and I'm reeling off what I've got for lunch at the salon as if I'm defending myself. I've got a cake, I've got...
Wow, and I'm hearing that justification again, and I hope that people listening to this I bet you people listening to this will be able to relate to this, whether it's fat shaming or thin shaming, and this whole, and people feeling like they have to justify. But again, please let me emphasize that this is about the person who's making the comment. Now, as you say yourself, Hayley, you believe they're coming from a good place. And isn't it interesting that, like, from their perspective, they may think that you look too thin? That's coming from their place, whatever's going on from them, their perspective. As long as you're happy with yourself, that's all that matters. Because somebody else will always have a different opinion because they're not you. So if somebody was concerned about you, what could they say that would take the judgment out of it? So if, let's say, people genuinely care, they want to say something, but they don't want to come across as judgy, and they certainly don't want to hurt your feelings. Any ideas as to what they could say, which might be a lot nicer and caring?
Yeah, so my one friend, she knows me very, very well. We've all got that best friend that we don't even have to speak, do we? And they just know. So if I'm unwell and she hasn't seen me for a couple of weeks, she'll go, "Oh, Hayley, are you okay? You know, you're not looking yourself." And I know,
yes,
meaning you look thin. And I say, "I know, I've had a chest infection or whatever I've had."
Yeah.
That's why. And she's like, "Oh, okay." So without saying, "You look skinny," it's coming from a place like, "Are you okay?"
Yeah, that is lovely, Hayley. You know, like when you say that, are you okay? There's no judge. I suppose, I suppose where it becomes harmful is when people start commenting on somebody's appearance, whether they think they're too big, too small, whatever. If you ask them, are you okay? If that's your concern, if let's say you think, God, they're looking a bit fat or they're looking a bit thin, if you're going, are you okay? Because that's your concern, there's no judgment in that. So they can, if there's something like you're not looking yourself, there is a case that somebody might go, oh, what do you mean? And then they might go, well, have you lost weight? You know, so it's almost like, I can imagine with your friends, you know that that's acceptable, that's how they show their care. I think in general, I think a lot of times people don't know what to say. So I think asking somebody, are you okay? You're then putting out, I'm concerned about you. And then, you know, and then that takes the judgment away. What do you think? I mean, I'm happy for people to comment on this, and I believe we're all learning as we go along.
Yeah, there's always going to be words as well that we're unsure. Oh, does that, after we've said it? I mean, I've especially done this after I've said something. I thought, oh, that sounds a bit, condescending. It sounds a bit. So then I go, oh, sorry, I didn't mean that. So we all do it at some point.
Yeah.
And, I think the other side of the spectrum, like ladies that are a larger frame, they get the opposite. So if they're in the gym, oh, you're losing a bit of weight. So no, I don't want to lose any weight. I'm coming because I like to come to the gym and it's good mentally for me. And it's a routine, it's a structure, it makes me happy. That assumption is always there, I feel. Size bar, you can be happy being a size 18, you can be happy being a size 6. People don't need to make the comments that they make. And I think what I'm getting at is people should just be a little bit more aware of what's actually coming out of their mouth.
Yeah, absolutely, Hayley. You know, I'm so pleased that we're talking about this, and I hope this is helpful for the people listening, because I think there's a lot about fat shaming. I don't think there's enough about skinny shaming, thin shaming, and even those words, fat, thin. It's like for yourself, Hayley, you love being called petite. And I remember when we were having this conversation, I said, by the way, how do you like to be described? And that was a learning for me as well, is if you want to have a conversation with a loved one, about weight and about body shape, ask them, how do they like to describe themselves? So for me, I love being described as voluptuous. I believe I'm a very voluptuous woman. I think it suits my personality. I wouldn't want it any other way. Like, I know when I did the whole slimming clubs, and, I did a load of slimming clubs throughout my life and got down to target weight because I'm very determined. I can achieve whatever I want. but I didn't maintain it because I was miserable, and it wasn't me, and I just think it's so important that to be aware of society's expectations, but then to get to a level where you're okay with you, whatever size that is.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, self-confidence is key
Yeah.
always. If you're self-confident and you think, right, I'm happy with me, that's the most important thing. Like weight, you can get to your target weight and still be so unhappy in yourself because, like you say, it's not maintainable sometimes, everything in moderation. So, and a lot comes down to genetics as well.
Yeah.
I eat like an absolute pig. And people don't believe that of me because I'm a size 6 to 8. Now, I eat a lot. I eat more than most men. And it annoys me when you go to like a buffet and when they're giving you the food and they look at me and they give me this tiny amount and I go, have some more, please.
Hayley, I had a situation where I was in this posh restaurant and this waitress came down with this tiny proportion on the plate. And I just looked at her and I says to her, do I look anorexic? Can you please give me more food? Now, I don't mean to obviously undermine anorexia because that is a serious condition here. So please know that that is not what I'm out to do with that comment. But do you know what, folks? We're here to highlight that when people are criticizing people's appearance, whether it's fat, thin, skinny, whatever, that it can lead to body dysmorphia, it can lead to anorexia, and that's a huge problem. And myself and Hayley, I think we just want to kind of promote being happy with your body, however you are, because life is too short.
Yeah. It definitely is. It definitely is. And I think, like we say, mindfulness is absolutely key here.
Yeah.
So, everybody, when you see somebody, if they look a little bit unwell, if they've lost weight, if they've gained weight, just say, how's things with you? Are you okay? Because
Yeah.
there's not a reason behind that weight gain
Yes.
or that weight loss, but people are more focused on the physical, how you look, than to say, are you okay?
Or just how are you?
How are you? Yeah.
Yeah, and it's interesting actually because when I remember years ago when I done all the slimming clothes because I was told I needed to lose weight and all that sort of malarkey, that I remember years ago waiting for people to tell me, oh, you've lost weight, don't you look well? And unfortunately, people did do that. There was
Yeah.
so much of any, because I've been up and down weight-wise all my life. I'm going to share this for the people listening now. People who watch this on my YouTube channel will be able to see this. So what I'm holding up is what I call a size bracelet. And somebody had made this. I got at Buzzards Valley Market, where you've got all the different dress sizes, and they made it into a bracelet. And I produced this in one of my mental health shows because what I wanted to highlight is that, especially in women, in our lifetime, the majority will go up and down at least 3 or 4 different sizes, depending what stage we're at in life, depending what's going on for us. And that is normal, that is natural. And like if we could all just accept that, because it's like myself, I've been so many different sizes all my life. And I think what's really sad, what I feel sad about for me, is I judged myself so much around that years ago. And I know that's because other people judge me. Oh, you put on a bit of weight, have you? Are you doing something about that? It's like what you were saying with the comment, Hayley. It reminded me when I was out walking. I walk an awful lot, and I'm very fit. That's another misunderstanding with somebody who's overweight, that they're not fit. I'm very fit. And not being full of shite. But you know what? I'll take that. Why not? We gotta love ourselves. But I was not walking, and this neighbor goes, "Oh, are you trying to lose weight?" I go, "No."
And again, it's another assumption, isn't it? Of, well, you must be trying to lose weight because you're walking. No, I enjoy walking actually.
Judgment, isn't it? What? I'm not fit for society.
Oh yeah, it is just being happy with yourself and the weight that you are. I always look at a curvier woman, especially when I'm shopping online, and the clothes just sit, so well.
Yeah, but they
And
fit into the curves and they look and they own it. I
yeah,
love confident women, whatever size they are. Like I was out on Saturday night and it was fabulous at this Christmas ball, and it was fabulous to see all the different dresses and both men and women. And I just love people, regardless of the size, they own it. I love
yeah.
that.
Oh yeah, you can dress well whatever size you are. And when you see somebody that's body confident, it comes across in a different way completely. And
Yeah,
they just look fab because they're shining from the inner, aren't they? And they're just going, this is me, this is what I look like, and they just strut their stuff and they look great. Whereas someone, that's a bit hunched over
yeah.
and just and I used to do that a lot actually. So
Um,
I had breast augmentation
mhm.
4 years ago because after having my two children, I was left with nothing.
Okay.
And that also affected me, like going swimming, doing the day-to-day things. And again, people don't realize because you're slim, what have you got to worry about? But it's how you feel in yourself. So I would cover up and I would literally, as I'm walking, I would hunch over because I didn't want people to see that I didn't have any breasts. But now I'm so comfortable and I've had a really small size still. Well, I've had a C, which suits my frame completely.
Yeah.
If you didn't know, you wouldn't know. And it just has given me that whole new confidence that I didn't have before. And again,
Yeah.
there's a judgment on that as well. People think it's for vanity, and sometimes it is for vanity reasons for people, and they will openly admit that.
Yeah.
But for me, that was for a different reason. And you do get a lot of shaming with, unnecessary surgery, as people call it. But it's how you feel in yourself, isn't it? Each to their own. We've got one life, so we just live it to how we want.
Yeah, absolutely each their own, because then you'll have other women that have very small breasts and they love their very small breasts or hardly any breasts at all. Do you know what I mean? That again, this is about each to their own and not commenting, not criticizing. Like again, when other people criticize, it really is about them. I mean, the last time I had a massage with you, Hayley, do you mind me sharing what that woman had said?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so if I were, this is what started it. This is what
It
started. I said, come on, let's talk about this, Haley, in the podcast. About wasn't it where she was describing somebody being thin or something like that, and said something like, "Yeah, but no, but they're not as thin as you."
So what had gone
Yeah.
on here? She came in and she said, "Gosh, I saw my friend the other day, and I haven't seen her for ages. She's lost about 3 stone." And then she went, "But she's looking really gaunt now in the face." And she looked at me and she went, "Not as bad as yours."
Oh, Haley! Oh no!
And I don't think she actually realised what she had said. But luckily, I quite happened to like my face. So
Yes, and
I
you have a beautiful face, Haley.
thank you, Sheila. I did take offence, but
Yeah.
not personally. And I thought, oh gosh, you could say that to a person that is actually conscious. I've got a
Yes.
friend actually, and she's got a few medical conditions, and she does really suffer with like her cheeks are really drawn
Sure.
in, and
Yeah.
she'll joke and she'll say, I look like I'm a drug abuser. And I say, no, you don't. But if she would have said that comment to her, that really would have affected her mental health and it would have
Yeah.
really put her back. And I feel like I should have said something and just made her aware of
Oh,
what she was
it's
saying.
so difficult, Haley, because I remember, first of all, I'm so glad you remembered exactly how it was, because it was far worse than how I remembered it.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad I remember that it was pretty bad. So thank you for sharing that story. And I remember afterwards, we did have a chat about, goes, wow, she obviously isn't aware of that.
Yeah.
Could you say anything? It is a difficult one, Haley, because I kind of we were talking about different options, but then this is a customer of yours. This is, do you know what I mean? Any more thoughts about that? About if you did say something, what could you say?
Yeah, so I feel like because, like you say, it on a professional level, how do you approach that subject without offending and making them feel bad, really, I suppose, because if they haven't realised what they've said. But going forward, I think people do need to be aware. So I would probably just say
No.
something along the lines of, well, I'm not sure if you realise how that sounded, but it didn't actually sound very nice towards me. I don't
Wow,
think that.
Hayley, that sounds amazing, actually. When you say that, I'm not sure if you're aware of how that sounded. It actually came across as a bit hurtful, or basically like using obviously you'll use your own words, and what I'd love to do, Hayley, is let's take that bit and put it out in social media. If
Yeah,
you're okay with that, let's put that out to the listeners and put it out to social media. The same scenario, and let's say you want to say something, but you're not sure what to say, and any advice from people from any suggestions, I think would be quite interesting. Because I know for me, I would probably use humor. I'd probably go, ouch, and I'd probably go, are you saying I'm not like a ghost? I'd probably use humor, but that would be my own style to highlight, to not just say nothing. Because I know what you're saying here, that you don't want to hurt her feelings. Effectively, she's hurt your feelings by saying that. She's not aware of that. So effectively, if you don't say anything to her, she's going to continue to do the same thing to other people.
yeah, she's not going to be aware, and a lot of people aren't aware with the
No.
comments they say, and we've all had comments said to us, in the past by people, and I don't feel like it's malicious. I feel like it's just making them aware of what they're actually saying.
Yes, yeah, and how it's coming across. I think that's really important, actually, that we empower ourselves so we don't have to just put up with comments, you
Yeah,
know. Yeah, that's really important moving forward, because I think so many times people, as you say, are completely unaware. But then the person who is receiving that, you don't have to shut up and keep quiet about it. Do you know what I
yeah,
mean? 'Cause if somebody, even something like, ouch, even saying, when you know something, going, oh, that's a bit hurtful. Again, if we've lots of different options and advice from lots of different people, I feel like then we can pick and respond to think, oh, that could work for me. So almost like if you're ever in that situation where you're being exposed to body shame, or whether it's fat, thin, whatever, that you kind of have things that you can say that feels okay to say them without shutting you down. Because I think then it internalized. I think then that can lead to disorders. I think a lot of it is about responsibility as these conversations. And also there was something I really wanted to highlight, is self-body shaming. I see this all the time where women, men, they keep making comparisons. So I wish I was like this, somebody else. I wish I was that. Well, you're effectively body shaming yourself. And I think moving forward, we have to begin to notice how much we body shame ourselves, and to change that language, to decide, because I'll never forget that, Hayley. I spent so many years up until my 20s hating and loathing myself, and taking it out in food, and then having issues with weight and stuff like that. And then through therapy, me being the client, I just realized, there's a flip side. I can absolutely hate myself and take out what's happened to me on myself, or I can flip it around and see myself as my own best friend and really start loving myself. And a big part of it is the language, the stuff that we say to ourselves, making comparisons. What do you think, Hayley?
yeah, I absolutely agree. Like yourself, I've spent many years, oh God, I wish I had this, I wish I had that. But now, in my mid-30s, I'm actually happy with me. I'm in a comfortable place. And it doesn't matter about people's judgment, because you need to be happy within yourself, and you need to stop comparing yourself to other people. And I think as well, if you see somebody, I am a big believer in this. Oh, I love your hair. Oh, I love that dress. And that's made their day. So just turn anything into a positive and just compliment people rather than judge. It,
Yeah, do you know what? I can imagine some listeners going, but that's what I do. I compliment somebody when they've lost weight. Do you know, look, I mean, look, all we can do is our best, and that's good enough. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think it's important to have these conversations. I think there's a long way to go with this. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? That it's funny, like, in my own work, working with anorexia and eating disorders, that a lot of times people have experienced that they just don't want people to comment on their appearance at all,
Oh,
actually.
yeah.
And for them to say, it's nice to see you. So instead
Yeah.
of going, oh, don't you look lovely? Or that's a lovely dress. Or because then the next day when you see them and you don't comment, it's like, oh, do they not like my dress? Do they not like what I'm wearing? So it's almost like that. To kind of it's a tricky one, Hayley. It is because the compliments thing, it is lovely. We all love compliments and we love to be noticed and we love to be seen and we love to be heard. I suppose if we can balance it out where it's not always about how we look and it's
Yeah.
always like it's nice to see you, because I think too much of us is defined on how we look. And that was just kind of another thing that I wanted to bring up was about the different perspectives that like I know myself that when I look back at pictures of me in my 20s, I think, what was I moaning about? Why was I self-hating on myself? I looked absolutely gorgeous. And but when I look back in the mindset I was in, I just didn't believe that. I hated myself at that time. And it's almost like that if you're hating on yourself now, there could be a chance that your future self in the 80s or 90s could be looking back and you're now going, wow, weren't you fabulous? Just enjoy your life and just live in the moment and don't worry too much about how you look. What do you think, Hayley?
Yeah, I agree. And I also think in today's society, we've got all these filters now on Instagram, and
Yeah,
I use Instagram for business,
yeah,
but I don't have it for personal. I did at one point, and then I mean, I am a confident person now. I
yeah,
wasn't in my 20s, but nobody looks like that on a day to day. They just don't. And you're scrolling through, and every woman is, it's all photoshopped. And so it's really hard in today's society not to second guess yourself because you're seeing all these women that are perfection.
yeah.
But if you see them in a normal day, they don't look like that. And I think that's a real sadness as well, that our society is also pushing for that. I don't know if you've seen lately, but I keep seeing on Facebook the AI pictures. Have you seen
Okay.
women posting those?
Wow, I haven't hit it. I tend to kind of, I've the lovely Justine who mainly does my social media,
Yeah.
because I don't want to get sucked into too much of it. So I tend to not go on it too much because I find some of it quite unhealthy. So I kind of, do you know what I mean? But wow. So when you say AI, what do you mean? They're trying to show this perfection kind of,
So it's not even their body.
okay.
It's the completely Photoshop of the AI. So these robots and everything they're bringing out now with the AI. This is a
Yeah,
different form of a picture. So they get your picture and they just turn you into this, perfection of a version of you. But then women are posting these pictures. Now they're going to look back. That was never them in the first place. They're always going to feel not good enough.
Yes, they're kind of setting themselves up to feel like a failure because I have that as a counsellor where, like that, there's some people they don't want to go out because they don't represent the same pictures that they show themselves on social media. Here, I'm mindful of the time, no doubt we're going to be back on again chatting. I have a feeling that listeners are going to want more of the sort of conversations we have. Well, I certainly hope that they do because I hope that this is helpful. What I also love, and I hope this is a really helpful message, kind of going forward, is to really like that. Do you work in aesthetics? And again, we talk about each to their own. So for me, I love the massage side of things. For me as a counsellor, I mainly work on the inside. So regardless of how you look, that you're loving yourself. I love the fact that, like you and I, Hayley, we've become great friends actually, and I love the fact that, you have your service, I have mine, and it's each to their own. There's no judgment. There's no, do you know what I mean? Like that, I love that. But are you the same, Hayley?
Yeah, and I know, Sheila, we've had many conversations about, because we do have different views on some things. Like I say, our jobs are
You.
very different, and I have a lot
Yeah,
of clients come in, and oh, I want to change this and I want to change that. But as a practitioner, I have to draw the line sometimes and
yeah,
say, you don't need that. So my
yeah,
my clients are probably over 50s, a lot of mine in
sure.
aesthetic. I don't work on the young girls, and because I personally don't agree. I think they're too young, they don't need it. As we get
Okay.
older, we do lose muscle, the fat pad.
Yeah,
So, and it makes people feel better. And I know we've had many conversations and you've gone, oh, actually, yeah, I didn't see it from that
yeah,
perspective.
yeah.
Because people just think like, oh, aesthetics, it's just making people's lips look like ducks.
Yeah,
But
and I just wanted to mention that because I know kind of people listening in, it'd be very easy for them to judge. Do you know what I mean? Like because of that side of the work that you do. And I just wanted to go that's the whole point is each the road. There's different services out there, but it's kind of like taking away that whatever about any pressures that people may feel, just do what feels right for you. And if other people have a problem with that, that really is their problem. So kind of go back to especially the body shaming and stuff like that, Hayley. If we've any listeners at the moment that let's say do, and again I hate using the word skinny and thin, but for the benefit of the body shaming, will use it. That if there's listeners here and they have people who thin shame them, skinny shame them, stuff like that, what advice would you give to them, Hayley?
I'd just say, just be sure of yourself, be healthy with your food choices, what you're eating. No matter what size you are, everything has to be a healthy balance and moderation. And then when people are making those comments to you, you can say, well, actually, I live a good lifestyle and this is me.
Oh, wow, Hayley, what a note to end on. This is me. Happy days. Hayley, I look forward to seeing you on Wednesday for my massage. Hayley, thank you so much for being here. And really has been a
It's a
pleasure
pleasure.
speaking with
Yeah.
you. And, thank you so much for allowing this to be public. And I really hope that's our intent here, folks, that us having this open conversation about size, regardless of what size that you have, that it will just promote more healthy attitudes towards body positivity.
Absolutely.
Okay, see you, Hayley.
Bye, Sheila.
Thank you for watching Counsellor Convos with Sheila McMahon. If you've enjoyed this video, consider subscribing to the channel.